XRP army. What I'm about to show you in today's video always happens before a big move. The reason I'm showing you this now is because XRP just had a pretty solid move, but it was due to a breaking news story. Some people were wondering why we didn't fly higher after the SEC case was dropped, and what I'm about to show you will explain that. In fact, I think we'll be touching new all-time highs very soon, probably in September. The first thing I want to do is show you this chart, which was just brought to my attention. Now, this is a great chart because it's pretty much the full 3 chart with a few coins left out. But what it does is look at times when there were big black swan events and how they affected the market, as well as what happened to cryptocurrencies right afterward. As you can see, the news of the Japan carry trade, which is a really big black swan event, led to huge losses in one day, which were quickly followed by a rally, which is also known as a V-shaped recovery. Then we heard about the tariffs right here. Without a doubt, there was a huge amount of red before that, after which there was another V-shaped rise to the sky. Once more, the position between Iran and Israel in WW3, we had a huge drop in prices, then a big rally. And of course, we had more trade stuff not long ago. First, we saw the red, and then, as we just saw, the markets began to rise again. Ethereum is now at a new all-time high. In other words, I just want to show you this. The price of an Ethereum coin just hit $4,200. Shorts are being closed out right now. The conviction of people is being paid 100% right now, no matter if it's XRP or Ethereum. Taking into account what has happened in the past, I think we will trade sideways for a while. Sound good? It's not always up, up, up. We do trade in a straight line for a while. It looks pretty simple when why. Ow, look at this chart, but when nothing happens for a month, a lot of people think the bull run is over and sell their cryptocurrency because they don't want to wait for the next big liquidity cycle. So what we just saw is that rates went down in the UK. In September, the US is planning to lower their rates. Finally, there will be ETF announcements in September, which are also very important. It looks like more money will be coming into the crypto market because of all of these factors. If we look at past cases, it's very clear that all of these are very bullish signs. But a lot of people are telling me right now, well, Levi, we just found out some big news that we've been waiting for a long time. Why is the next XRP going to a whole new high right now? Which is a pretty easy question to answer. XRP's price was already pretty high before the SEC case was thrown out. Everyone was sure that the case would be thrown out. That's why I never talked about this in any of my vids. The price of XRP has been going up and up over the last 6 months, as if there were some big event that was going to set it off. There's a very important reason I never said that in any of my films. It had already been paid. It was already known that it would be thrown away. Gary Gensler was fired or taken off the job. In fact, I think he quit before he could be fired. You guys still get the point, though. That being said, I'm going to show you the chart for all 3 cryptocurrencies. I'm leaving out Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, okay? We can still see a very clear trend, especially when we look at bigger chunks of time. I'm only going to talk about one day. There is a clear trend that you can see. Some of those times have been very long. For example, this is the bear market from June to November. Somewhat little to nothing happened during that time. However, it is clear that we are in a bull run at the moment. As you can see, that looks a lot like, say, 2021, just astronomically huge gains. Right now, we're seeing runs like this one. The time for altcoins has finally come. Okay, let's say Ethereum is in charge. Ethereum is at an all-time high right now. That is the best sign that altcoins are going to go up. It goes altcoins, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Yes, XRP is one of those other altcoins that will gain from the liquidity cycle if things go like they did in 2017, 2020, and now 2025. So this is what we're seeing now, right? And I do think that the amount of cash that will come in when rate cuts and ETFs are taken into account will be much bigger than many of you think right now. That's why I'm completely locked in right now. So when we look at the liquidation heat map after the most recent rise, we do see something similar. This makes me think that we'll first drop to a certain range before shooting up to new highs. As you can see, there are a lot of sales around the $115,000 mark. I think that a lot of institutional investors and whale investors will try to push us down to that level before pushing us up to new highs around 120,000. As you can see, there are a lot more people who are long than short, right? Now, which means that it will be much easier for whales to get rid of a bunch of people who are short, push us down, and open a position at the bottom before we absolutely smash through new highs. We are now looking at a number of about 115,000 Bitcoin, while the price of XRP is just below $3 per coin. I am not giving financial advice. This is just what I am doing to get ready for this. I am setting up these buy orders based on the support levels because I think that is the best way to go about it. We can see from these plots that there is strong support at $3, which is pretty much where we are now. What I'm going to do is set up trigger orders and limit orders around that range so that I will be ready if we do go down there and whales try to push us below those levels. I'll be able to make a good entry. Once these bands are tightened, we can expect new highs around $367,380 and even higher in September. But based on patterns from the past, this is what it looks like we're getting ready for. Right here, you can see that the bands did get tighter. Then we tested our way down right here, and in the end, we went back up. Right then and there, the bands got tighter, and we did test the bottom again. Right here, the bands got tighter, and we moved up. Again, that was great, but we need to look at what the sale heat map shows us. There are a lot of long positions right now, which means that it will be much easier for those with a lot of cash to sell those positions and get a better entry point. I'm going to look at what that entry point will be when that happens. And I add these kinds of posts every day to my free Discord and Telegram group, which I'd love for you all to join. Please keep in mind that I never give financial advice in my vids or in any of my groups. I don't give advice about money. Get help from a financial advisor if that's what you want. What I do is just share what I'm doing in all of my trades, including every entry and exit. This is my whole trading past. You can see that I have a history of doing this right here. That's